Good morning. It's Wednesday morning. No matter how you would like to argue otherwise, it's Wednesday. Except on the other side of the world, it's almost, well, it's nearly tomorrow. It doesn't like much being tomorrow. If we're not already tomorrow there, we'll be tomorrow there in about 28 minutes. I'm just aware of this because my son is in Japan right now doing some work. Rode a bullet train. I rode it when they first built it. That's been over 40 years ago. The train went over 200 miles an hour. I was like, I was amazed. Of course, I'm always easy to impress. I'm glad y'all watched the podcast last night. Over 200 people had watched before we finished, and I know that that's probably double or triple this morning. I'm very grateful to people watching our podcast from the Full Gospel Church in Ozark. I'm grateful to the people who watch this broadcast, although I usually have between 100 and 200. If I look especially needy, I might get 200 people. Like if I look like I'm fixing to die or something. That can happen sometimes. And but I did get a comment on the morning podcast that I do. This one I do every day. And they said, why doesn't it look like your regular podcast? Well, I don't have a big open space that we can use for a studio, and I don't have two guys in a control room running all the equipment. And so that's one of the reasons it doesn't look like, and I don't have the lighting and the 3 cameras set up and all that stuff that we have for the show. So I know that if I talk, if I'm given an answer, I can lean forward and just talk, and I know it's just got me on the camera, and whatever you see on the monitor, that's what the people see. But I do this for one reason. I want in the morning program that we do every day, we get to become friends. I tell you things that are going on with me. Sometimes in the comments, you tell me things that are going on with you. We become intimate. And this is an intimate environment. And the reason I do it in the kitchen and with the cabinets and stuff behind me like this is because there's no distractions going on in the background. But it's just like we're sitting at the kitchen table talking, like I'm right across the table from you, where we're like knee to knee and eye to eye. And I want it to feel close. And I know sometimes I lean into the camera and do that just like I would if I was talking to you, sitting across the desk or from the table or at the edge of the desk. And it's more real to me because I can act just like I would act if we were one-on-one instead of 1 on 100 or 200. And so that's important to me because it makes me comfortable because I feel like I'm just talking to folks. And I hope that it continues to make you comfortable. And when I zoom in like this, you'll go, oh no, he's talking to me. I'd better act right. I'm the greatest sinner who ever lived. I'm the chief of sinners. Paul said he was, but I am. I'm not worthy of the least, as Jacob said, of the least of the kindnesses and truths that thou hast shown me. For I crossed this Jordan with nothing but my staff in my hand, and now I return with 2 bands. I'm 2 bands of people. Well, I don't have 2 bands. I didn't even have a staff. But see, as I'm going to teach tonight that he has set me in a large place. We're going to be talking tonight about Psalm chapter 31, Psalm 31, a Psalm of David. And that's at the Victory Baptist Church. So you be sure and come if you're not doing anything else. I have tried before to do 2 programs in a day. It's hard because I get tired. But the main thing that's hard is that I have to hold 2 sets of material in my head at the same time. Now, that shouldn't be hard for me since I don't make notes anyway. Because of my short term memory, you know that I just go over the verses, and this the stuff that I've learned over the years that's still there. I can't learn anything new, I don't think, or I can't retain anything new. I can write it down, but then sometimes when I write notes, I forget what the notes mean. It's part of my ailment. They when they removed the tumor, they took a piece of my brain with it, and it just happened to be a piece of my brain that monitors and controls, and I don't know what other word I could use, the short term memory, as that was explained to me by the neurosurgeon. That was not one of the side effects that she said might happen. They were a lot more severe, but it's the side effect that I wound up with. I wasn't paralyzed. I didn't die. I didn't become um, vegetative. I don't know what the right words are, but my the biggest risks were coma, death, and being paralyzed because the tumor was pressing up against my motor control center. Being a paraplegic, in other words, afterward. Well, that none of that happened. But the side effect that I did wind up with was the carving out a piece of my short-term memory. So it's just something I have to deal with. If I knew it before 2018, I still know it. If I learned it after 2018, I have trouble with it, and I have to read and listen and use read aloud on my devices and really make sure that I understand the news and the things that I'm reading. All that to say this, that's one of the reasons why sometimes I fear trying to do 2 programs in a day. I've been praying real hard about this. I know that many of you, a couple of months ago, I said, well, if Jesus tarries and we're still here, what do you want to study next? And I've never done that before, I don't think. I've just gone on my own to what I wanted to do next. And many of you direct messaged me or told me in person that you wanted me to teach Revelation. And I would love to do that. And so if you have time to pray for me today, and pray that I will find a way to handle teaching the 2 books at the same time and hanging on to all that stuff without getting confused. Confusion at my age is not unheard of. And I want to thank you for the prayers. I did succeed yesterday in doing the programs, and I didn't suffer any damages. I'm still better today than I was yesterday. I was better yesterday than I was Monday. And so I'm continuing to improve. So I don't think I'll have to go back to the doctor. I may have to make a clinic visit, but I don't think I'll have to go back to the doctor again. And so I ask you to continue to pray for the infection in my elbow. It's the swelling's gone way down, and I have more and more mobility. And it still hurts if you bump it or touch it right on the elbow there, but it doesn't. And they tell me that's because of the bursitis that has set in. So, this is all new to me. This is an ailment I've never had before, but I appreciate your prayers because I'm able to function. We have programs this afternoon. I intend to go with the team to do those programs. I think there'll be at least 4 of us today, Dr. Ron, Dr. Danny, the good mayor of Republic, and Jim and I. I'm the only unaccomplished person among our team. I have no letters. I have no offices. I was not even in the armed forces. I have nothing. I'm just a guy. Uh, I'm a washed up fiddle player who learned his trade playing with the great Johnny Bush. Dum, 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 dum. Well, you people who live in Texas know what that means because that's how we kicked off every show. That was a swing version of Undo the Ride. I spent 7 years of my life. Dum, 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 dum. Yeah. So, now you know how crazy I am. But I've had my breakfast already. I've done my studying. I've done my reading. I've even prepared for tonight. And we have programs today, but I probably won't be leaving here till around 11 o'clock because there are afternoon programs over in Stratford and Marshfield, which is about, 30 miles away. So from here. So continue to pray for me, and I thank you very much and for that. And I will continue to pray myself about starting the second program while we're doing the first. All I could promise is that it would be an evening. And if you think that the morning timing is erratic, well, then the evening time would really be erratic. And I'm also thinking about the special problems that it would entail because the of the Tuesday night podcast. And I'm thinking about and the Sunday evening and Wednesday evening church services that I do. I'm thinking about all those things. Maybe it would have to be an afternoon program. But if it were an afternoon program, what if I'm off doing programs in the homes or on my way to Tulsa or something to do the homeless shelter? See, there are all kinds of things involved. If I have a busy day, I can always get up early. Like it's not even 8 o'clock yet. I can get up early and do my stuff and be ready to go. But having an additional program later in the day presents problems. Anyway, there are many things to pray about. I appreciate your prayers for me. They're definitely keeping me in business, and I'm very, very thankful. Chapter 44 of Isaiah. Yet now hear, O Jacob, my servant, in Israel, whom I have chosen. Thus saith the Lord that made thee and formed thee from the womb, which will help thee. Fear not, O Jacob, my servant, and thou, Jeshurun, whom I have chosen. For I will pour water upon him that is thirsty, and floods upon the dry ground. I will pour my spirit upon thy seed, and my blessing upon thine offering. And they shall spring up as among the grass, as willows by the water courses. One shall say, I am the Lord's, and another shall call himself by the name of Jacob. And another shall subscribe with his hand unto the Lord, and surname himself by the name of Israel. Thus saith the Lord, the King of Israel, and his Redeemer, the Lord of hosts, I am the first, I am the last, and beside me there is no God. And who as I shall call, and shall declare it, and set it in order for me, since I appointed the ancient people, and the things that are coming, and shall come, let them show unto them. Fear ye not, neither be afraid. Have not I told thee from that time, and have declared it? Ye are my witnesses. Is there a God beside me? Yea, there is no God. I know not any. They that make a graven image are all of them vanity, and their delectable things shall not profit. They are their own witnesses. They see not nor know, that they may be ashamed. Who hath formed a god or molten a graven image that is profitable for nothing? Behold, all his fellows shall be ashamed, and the workmen, they that are of men, they are of men. Let them be gathered together, let them stand up. Yet they shall fear, and they shall be ashamed together. The smith with the tongs both worketh in the coals, and fashioneth with hammers, and worketh it with the strength of his arms. Yea, he is hungry, and his strength faileth. He drinketh no more water, and is faint. The carpenter stretcheth out his rule. He marketh it out with a line. He fitteth it with planes. He marketh it out with a compass. and maketh it after the figure of a man, according to the beauty of a man, that it may remain in the house. Remember, the guy's making an idol. He's making a god, but that god can't give him water, can't give him food, can't give him rest. The very idol that he's making to bow down and worship. God is speaking through Isaiah against all this. He heweth him down cedars, and taketh the cypress and the oak, which he strengtheneth for himself among the trees of the forest. He planteth an ash, and the rain doth nourish it. The hardest wood there is. He's trying to improve his product, friends, but it's still going to rot. Now we begin in verse 15 today. Then shall it be for a man to burn. The tree that he cuts down. The tree that he cuts down. To make out of it a god. This is the foolishness of idols. Then shall it be for a man to burn, for he will take thereof and warm himself. The same wood that he used to make him a god. I mean, is he going to make a god out of the whole tree? No, he's just going to make a little god to stand up in a cubby hole. What do they call that? A sconce. He's just going to sit it there and worship it. Light a candle to it. Like one of them statues of Mother Mary in the Catholic Church. She can't do nothing for you. She's just a statue. She can't do anything for you when she's not a statue. She's at the feet of her Son in heaven right now. Her spirit is. She had to get saved the same way as you did and I did. The mother-child cult is a lie. It's just the offshoot of Babylon. It's Semiramis and Tammuz. They just named them Mother Mary and Baby Jesus, or Virgin Mary and Baby Jesus. It's all a bunch of popery. And I have no problem with telling you what it is. But I witness to Catholics all the time because there's so many of them. I love them. And I did the funeral of my Catholic friend, Bill Meinsenheimer, who was a deacon in the parish at Billings. It's about 25 miles over there, 28 miles. He would go to the shut-ins and give them communion. He had a special training and dispensation by his church to do that. They had like a circuit priest that covered an area, and he only saw his priest. The parish only saw the priest once a month, but they had the faithful nuns who were there, and they were all at Bill's funeral. They had a whole pew full of nuns and administrators of that parish. Adam, God bless you. I'm trying to think of something to move so that you can come over with your strength and move it for me, but I just don't have anything today. I'm sure something will come up. Adam is a good boy. When he's not working, he's working out. I must have inspired him with my giant muscles here, you know. But I know that Bill was saved because he trusted Christ and Christ alone for his salvation. And we had many talks, and I know that he had come to his saving knowledge of Jesus Christ. Nobody can tell me different. When they had his funeral, the priest didn't do it, I did. Me and Ron and Reverend Collins. He was a part of our team. He loved to hear about Jesus. He loved to talk about Jesus. He loved to tell people about Jesus. But back to the chopping down the tree to build a God that can't help you. A statue, a totem pole. Cut him up small and make him a teraphim, one of them little miniature. Thank you, Adam. Then shall it be for a man to burn, the part that he doesn't make the God out of, he's going to burn it. For he will take thereof and warm himself. He kindleth. Yeah, it's warmed by the fire. You would have to be completely deranged not to enjoy warming yourself by an open flame. It would be weird if that didn't feel good to you. I would say that you weren't even human. Then shall it be for a man to burn, for he will take thereof and warm himself. Yea, he kindleth it and baketh bread. He takes one piece, he builds a fire, he gets warm. When he gets warm, he kindles those coals around, builds his fire up the way he needs it to bake his bread, puts his bread on the grate where he needs it, or in a Dutch oven. You ever make biscuits in a Dutch oven? Oh, man. You got to set them down in the coals. Takes about 40 minutes. They get done, boy. Now cast iron Dutch oven, about that thick. You put that grease and them biscuits in there and they come out they cake up and they're fluffy, flaky, not doughy. I like buttermilk biscuits. I don't know for sure, but I bet that's the kind that old Gus McCrae made in Lonesome Dove. I can't remember. It doesn't tell you in the movie. It doesn't show you preparing them. It just shows him taking them out of the oven. He said that was only his two skills. His two skills in life was to make biscuits and drink whiskey. that was his two skills. Then shall it be for a man to burn, for he will take thereof and warm himself. Yea, he kindleth it and baketh bread. So he chops down a tree. Part of it he uses to build a fire. And after he gets warm, he bakes some bread. And then with the rest of it says, yea, he maketh a God and worshipeth it. He maketh it a graven image and falleth down thereunto. That's what the goldsmith, the coppersmith, the silversmith, that's what they were doing in verses 12 through 14. They're making that idol. They're taking that idol and putting it around the wood that they carve into the image of a man. But it's the same wood with which they build a fire, with which they bake their bread and eat their bread. And then they make a God out of it and worship it. That other chunk of wood, he worships it and maketh it a graven image and falleth down thereunto. The second commandment, thou shalt make unto thee no graven image. Thou shalt make unto thee no graven image. These baubles that they got sitting up everywhere. Prayer gardens. Corruption. Statues. Then shall it be for a man to burn, for he will take thereof and warm himself. Yea, he kindleth and baketh bread. Yea, he maketh a God and worshipeth it. He maketh it a graven image and falleth down thereto. And then God explains through Isaiah, verse 16, he burneth part thereof in the fire. With part thereof he eateth flesh. He roasteth roast. It is satisfied. Like I was satisfied with my tuna tortilla a while ago. Oh, it was good. It was not very normal for me to eat tuna in the morning, but maybe I was craving that kind of protein. I don't know. But that's what I wanted. That's what sounded good to me when I woke up. He burneth part thereof in the fire. with part thereof he eateth flesh. He roasteth roast, and is satisfied. Yea, he warmeth himself, and saith, Aha, I am warm, I have seen the fire. And the residue thereof he maketh a god. The part that he didn't use to get warm and to cook his bread and to cook his supper, he roasteth roast. Gopher Everett? Well, maybe it wasn't a gopher. Whatever it was he caught to eat that day. Maybe it was a rabbit. He burneth part thereof in the fire. With part thereof he eateth flesh. Good morning, Chris. And he roasteth roast and is satisfied. Yea, he warmeth himself and saith, Aha, I am warm, I have seen the fire. And verse 17, and the residue thereof he maketh a god, even a graven image. I got a chunk of wood left over. I'll make a god out of it and worship it. What's he doing? Thanking the tree for warming and feeding him? Who built the tree? Who created the earth and the sun and the rain that birthed and supports the tree? Chapter 1, Genesis will tell you. The residue thereof he maketh a god, even his graven image. He falleth down unto it, and worshipeth it, and prayeth unto it, and saith, Deliver me, thou art my God. The stump. He's worshiping a stump, a log. Do you see how ridiculous this is? Of course, we don't go to all the trouble of making a god. That would be too much trouble in this fast food culture of ours. Now, we just worship movie stars and singers and preachers and I don't know what else, pornography and presidents. We worship them kind of people. It's all for naught. They can't help you. All they can do is ruin your relationship with Christ. Put your focus, set your affection on things above and don't mind earthly things. Turn your eyes upon Jesus. Look full in his wonderful face. The things of earth will go strangely dim in the light of his glory and grace. He burneth part thereof in the fire, and with part thereof he eateth flesh. He roasteth roast, and is satisfied. Yea, he warmeth himself, and saith, Aha, I am warm, I have seen the fire. And the residue thereof he maketh a god, even his graven image. He falleth down unto it, and worshipeth it, and prayeth unto it, and saith, Deliver me, for thou art my God. Verse 18, they have not known nor understood. He cut down a tree. He set it on fire. It made him warm. He moved the fire around, got it the way he needed it to cook supper with, and he ate. He was satisfied and happy. And with what was left over, he made him a little totem pole, a god, an idol to worship. And it's all the same piece of wood. They have not known nor understood, for he hath shut their eyes that they cannot see, and their hearts that they cannot understand. And none considereth in his heart, neither is there knowledge nor understanding to say, now God's going to tell you what I just told you through Isaiah. And none considereth in his heart, neither is there knowledge nor understanding to say, I have burned part of it in the fire. Yea, also I have baked bread upon the coals thereof. I have roasted flesh and eaten it. And shall I make the residue thereof an abomination? Shall I fall down to the stock of a tree He feedeth on ashes, says verse 20. A deceived heart hath turned him aside, that he cannot deliver his soul, nor say, is there not a lie in my right hand? The right hand who chopped down the tree, the right hand who built the fire, the right hand who cooked his supper, the right hand who fashioned an idol, a god, the right hand who raises it to the worship that God, and he bows down to it. Oh, Wategu Siam. You'll get it in a little while. Just say it several times fast. He feedeth on the ashes. A deceived heart hath turned him aside, that he cannot deliver his soul, nor say, is there not a lie in my right hand? Jeremiah 17:9. The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? Beloved, you can talk yourself into anything. You can talk yourself out of anything except sin. You can talk yourself out of going to church. You can talk yourself out of following Christ. You can talk yourself out of worshiping God. You can talk yourself out of not listening to the Holy Ghost. But you cannot talk yourself out of sin. You can't talk yourself out of the penalty for that sin. If it were not for the grace of God who saved me with his precious blood spilled from the veins of Jesus Christ on the cross of Calvary, if not for Calvary, I would be lost. I would be no better than these people in ashes who are worshiping a stump. I am a great sinner. I have committed great sins and blasphemies against God in my life. And some of them not that long ago. But he is faithful. If we confess our sins, he is faithful and just to forgive us our sins and to cleanse us of all unrighteousness. All unrighteousness. And that would even cover worshiping a stump surrounded by ashes. Covers that too. The grace of God knows no bounds. There is no sin that God will not forgive. There is no problem you have that he won't solve. There is no obstacle you have that he won't overcome. Only trust him. Only trust him. Only trust him now. He will save you. He will save you. He will save you now. God bless you all.